Hello there, I'm Greg Sadler, and I'm very excited to tell you about yet another great learning opportunity we have coming up in the Study with Sadler Academy. It's going to be an 8-week online class, open access. That means that anybody who's interested can join. And what is the topic this time around? I think this is one that not only am I quite interested in and excited about, but I think many of you will be as well. I'm just going to show you the book that we're going to be working through in its entirety. Yes, that is Alasdair MacIntyre's After Virtue. This, of course, is the 3rd edition. If you've got an earlier edition, that's okay as well. And we're going to spend 8 weeks going through the entirety of this absolutely massively influential work in virtue ethics in the 20th century, one that has probably set the agenda, although in ways that other people have raised issues about. MacIntyre is very good about addressing that, his critics as well, going well into the 21st century. And why do a class on MacIntyre right now? Well, as I think many of you know, he passed away last year after a very long and illustrious career and actually a great life. So I'm actually, in this case, going to do something a little bit unusual for these all about a course video. So I got to know Alasdair MacIntyre by studying with him in a faculty fellowship with the Erasmus Institute at Notre Dame University, and he and I interacted afterwards quite a few times. And I'll tell you that when it comes to the virtue ethics that he is advocating here, an Aristotelian and later Thomist virtue ethics, he was the real deal. He actually followed through on the things that he said, not just in terms of what we might call practicing ethics, but even in terms of how he conducted inquiry and how he furthered the tradition that he had come to identify with. So that might give you some idea about not just where I'm coming from as a reader and teacher of this text, but where we might go in the class. So online class, we're going to be meeting at 9 a.m. Central Time. You do want to check your time zone to make sure that it's something that would work for you. We'll be meeting each week for roughly 90 to 120 minutes, depending on how deep students want to go into things, how many questions there are. I always schedule for 90 minutes, but we often go a bit longer, which means you're getting more bang for your buck. I have been reading, writing about, teaching this work. Boy, it goes all the way back to graduate school. So let's say about close to 30 years at this point. You can tell that it's one that I'm actually quite passionate about. And so we'll be meeting in these class sessions online. In addition to that, I am going to be providing a number of handouts that I use in my own classes with my academic students. I'm going to be developing some new handouts for this class just for students who enroll in this. We're going to have discussion questions that people can engage in, not just during the class sessions, but using discussion forums. And we'll record every class session so you can go back to it and rewatch it if you want to, or if you happen to miss a class session, you're not left out in the cold. And you might say, well, how long do I get access to that? Lifetime. So long as the platform that we're using remains in place on the internet, you will have access to that. If you know my teaching style, you know it's quite interactive and dynamic, and that actually, once you read MacIntyre, fits very well the approach that he is advocating for engaging in inquiry in after virtue. Any healthy tradition needs that. So if you don't know what this work is, and you're like, why is he talking so much about MacIntyre and After Virtue? This is probably one of the most important works, not just of ethics, but also, political philosophy as well in the 20th century. It's also the work of MacIntyre that I would say is probably the best known. It's actually part of a 4-book series that begins with this text, and it's one that was published about halfway through MacIntyre's long career and his own education, where he was, not just doing it as an undergraduate and as a graduate student, but also throughout his own life. This is a really central turning point for MacIntyre. And I think people are going to be reading this and rereading this hundreds of years from now. It's a classic. So this is an opportunity to study it with somebody who takes it seriously, doesn't necessarily agree with MacIntyre on every single point in it, but can definitely help you understand what's going on, what the arguments are, what the claims are, who he's referencing, whether he's being fair or not. Let me lead you a little bit through the curriculum before, I make the pitch that you should enroll in this class. So in the first week of the class, we're going to look at the first 3 chapters where MacIntyre is laying out what he views as our present condition, which is one where we've got some radical discontinuities when it comes to the ways that we not only use moral language, but think about ethics in general, and it gets us into all sorts of quandaries. And he's going to put his finger on a really important aspect of our contemporary culture that he calls emotivism. So that's what we're going to focus on in week 1, which is kind of setting the stage. And then week 2, he's going to introduce one of the really key parts of his argument. He's going to talk about the Enlightenment project, the various iterations that it has taken over several centuries, and the fact that it failed and why it wound up failing. Week 3 is going to seem a little bit of a going off into the weeds, but it's actually one of the most important parts of the work, one that also has echoes in other texts of MacIntyre. We're going to look at chapters 7 and 8, where he's examining the social sciences, what we might call, managerial approaches to things. I think there's a lot of implications here as well for a world in which people think you can just throw AI into everything. And we'll not just focus on those chapters. We're also going to look at one other earlier article by him, Hegel. This is from his Hegel work, right? Hegel on Skulls and Faces, which looks at the very famous physiognomy section, right? And MacIntyre has been, a critic of over-reliance on these sorts of approaches for a long time. Week 4, we're going to get really into the heart of the work. We're going to talk about a choice that has to be made that he is articulating now here in the work for us. And we're going to start with looking at the back history of various approaches to the ideas, going all the way back to the Homeric age and, through Plato and the Athenian situation that he's writing in. We'll continue that in week 5, where we'll turn to looking at what Aristotle brings to the table. MacIntyre thinks this is absolutely important. And then the continuation on into the Middle Ages. And we'll also consider MacIntyre's own criticisms of the Stoics and Anthony Long's famous response about that to MacIntyre, where he pointed out that, hey, the stuff that you're saying about Aristotelianism, you might want to consider the Stoics as a rival, but, fellow traveler school. Week 6, we're getting closer to the end now. We're going to go deep into the chapters 15 and 16, where MacIntyre is going to give us an analysis of what is exactly a virtue? How does a virtue develop? How does it work? And we're going to look at his notion of a tradition and its connections with institutions. And another really key term that's going to come up in this, practices as well. In week 7, we're going to get very close to the end of the work. We're going to dig into his discussion of from virtues to after virtue, the famous Benedict invocation, right, that leads to the non-MacIntyrean. I hardly need to point this out since he's actually come out very publicly against this, the Benedict option, right, that certain people made very popular as a misconception of MacIntyre's work. We'll get into that as well. And his famous choice that needs to be made, Nietzsche or Aristotle, which actually turns out to be Nietzsche or Aristotle plus St. Benedict plus Trotsky plus others as well, right? And then finally, the very last week of the class, we will be wrapping up. We're actually going to look at the prologue of this book where he, addresses some of the issues that get brought up. We're also going to look at chapter 19, where he talks about going beyond after virtue and where he is responding to some of his critics, which is an integral part of MacIntyrean work as well, and his entire approach. So that's what we're going to be doing in this class. I hope that you'll consider joining me for this. I think this is a really wonderful opportunity for people out there who are interested in virtue ethics, in Aristotelian, Thomistic ethics, in how it could be done in a way that doesn't just circle the wagons against modernity, but actually goes out boldly within it and has something productive to say. This is not, a blueprint for a perfect society, but it gives you the toolbox that you need for getting by in the present. And, he's a wonderful interlocutor. We'll be spending a lot of time together going over this work. So consider enrolling, joining me and your other fellow students and learners on this journey through the entirety of Alasdair MacIntyre's After Virtue.